Another area that I want to just tap into is time. Now, when I look at you, I think if someone thinks that they've done a full workday in their life, I would implore them to speak to you and realize how much more is possible. I don't know anyone who can juggle as many balls, spin as many plates, use whatever analogy you want, but who can achieve as much within 8 to 10 hours as you. In saying that, I have been witness to a different version of challenge, which is not letting the urgent, reactive kind of immediate priorities. I've seen you let those things potentially get in the way of you focusing on the bigger priorities. Now, that's not a you thing. I see this with a lot of up and coming leaders. And I think it's speaking to what we said before around you define your value through hard work and then you've got to shift that. But I'd love to just hear some ideas, experiences that you've had that you think others would benefit from hearing around how you can get a better balance between urgent work and important work, because the urgent work's always going to be there. There needs to be some way to actually find time for the important stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very reactive and I did 100% measure myself on every single task I got finished in a day. And to the point where I probably go, I finished 15 things today. Yep, excellent. None of that was probably big picture. So the biggest tip I could probably give in this space is I have very, very strict diary management. And that is mapped out 3 weeks in advance. And when we talk about big picture thinking, when we talk about projects and me working on things that are not urgent, that are important, but maybe not urgent, that is all mapped out now. I have my thinking time mapped out and it's color coded. I have my project time mapped out. I have a rainbow calendar and I love it because it allows me to clearly see when I'm focusing. Now, if something comes up, it's taken me a long time, but I shut down everything else. No notifications, no Teams, no Outlook in any of the time that I'm working on project work, or I literally have to sit there and think through how we can do things better. I have no distractions. That took me a long time and a lot of work with you to get there. But I think having clear time in your diary that's focused and everything else shut down and there's no noise is probably the biggest tip I could give in that space. And that thinking is working, yeah?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that analogy of the wood chopper who's too busy chopping down trees that he doesn't have time to sharpen his saw. But if he just paused and sharpened his saw, he'd be able to chop down each tree quicker, more trees in a set period of time. So you got to sharpen your saw, right?
Absolutely. And usually the project work actually is going to create more time in everyone's life. Like, most projects are to make a business more efficient, more process driven, to deliver a better client experience. So the impact of you working on that affects the whole business, not just one little person with a little urgent task that could probably wait until the end of the day while you focus on this.
I think you just having that shift of going, I'm not here to necessarily work hard. Sure, I'm going to work hard, but what I'm actually here to do is to ask these bigger picture questions that no one else is asking, or focus on these bigger picture priorities that no one else can focus on. But I just want to dig into this very briefly. Was there ever a bit of a fear because you hadn't done that bigger stuff before? It was easy to find safety in small reactive things because it stopped you feeling like you weren't good enough to do the bigger things? Or was it purely just you understanding the balance of what was required for your role?
No, there was fear, absolute fear that what I was going to come up with in that thinking time, or the projects I was going to work on and present to you and present to the CEO, etc., wasn't going to be good enough. So if I buried myself in the urgent, then you always had that as a reason that you didn't work on the bigger picture stuff. And that brought a level of safety, absolutely, because I knew that I would nail all the urgent, but it's that out of comfort zone stuff again. So for me, that was out of my comfort zone to sit and have that time to think, to put forward big project ideas and map things out and present it. to an executive team. So absolutely, it was a safety thing. There is always time in the day to do that if you want to find it. Like you literally you have so much more control over your week than you think you do. And I think that once you get into that mindset, you can achieve everything you need to do in a regular work week. You just have to be smart.
And just admitting that to yourself is such a big step forward. I think you go, this doesn't have to be easy. It shouldn't be easy. I am outside my comfort zone. But then if you can liken that to a video, you go, how did I get that video done? I left my comfort zone. I dealt with a bit of negative client feedback, but then I got better and I improved my skills and now I'm better on video. So maybe this on the business time is the same principles and I just need to follow that path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the first time you knock off a really big project, once you move into a higher management role, the feeling of that and watching it being implemented across a business of this size, it's pretty special. And that feeling drives me to keep putting myself outside my comfort zone and to deliver things from bigger picture things. Anyway.